Can't stop. Won't stop. It's bad boy, baby. No, I don't want those problems. I definitely don't want those problems. First, we're gonna definitely say a prayer for our brothers and sisters. Also, our friends and our enemies. There's a lot of tragedy going on in California with the fires, the wildfires. Really, 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 really unfortunate. But deciding on or choosing a place to live or a location to live, and some of us don't even necessarily have a choice. We were raised somewhere, we grew up somewhere, and we just happen not to relocate or not to move. And well, I'm over here about to bust my chops. But with that, we are victim or could be casualties to a natural disaster at any moment, at any time. Anything could happen to you at any time, and we have to be cognitive of that. But we definitely want to keep, like I said, the families that are currently suffering from the disasters over there, the wildfires in California. And then, of course, you might have something local going on, specifically like in the southern region and some of the eastern region. You have ice and snow and sleet, which is wild. You got one side of the country in flames. You have another side of the country, covered up in ice, sleet, and snow. And whatever reason, you just want to make sure that I just want to make sure everyone is safe and well taken care of. But with that comes major logistical issues. Whether now coming towards the end of the year, W-2's got to come out, right? It's about to be tax season, people. It's about to be tax season. We're all getting prepared to write off some expenses or itemize some deductions or, claim those exemptions or those dependents. And with tax season, coming up, I want to emphasize, we don't want to do tax evasion, of course. We don't want to evade taxes. We want to have tax avoidance. And there's a very big difference between tax evasion and tax avoidance. And you need to get with your tax preparer or your CPA or maybe a financial advisor that has enough education and know-how to put you in the right position to where you're not necessarily paying a bunch of taxes. A lot of times us as citizens and taxpayers in our community, we complain about our situation, our finances. We might complain about how we're getting taxed and whatever, right? And don't get me wrong, I've complained. I still complain from time to time, but the goal is to structure yourself properly so you're not taxed like that. We have our Jeff Bezos and we have our Elon Musk. We have our celebrities, our athletes and things of that nature, or music producers and whatever. You have your doctors. You might have your neural doctor. That we all have the availability and the same kind of information if we choose to go find that information or choose to look for it. Some of us just run across it. Some of us get exposure to it. But there's no excuse from year to year, to have to be a victim of not taking advantage of your tax structure and taking advantage of the idea of not paying too many taxes. But you gotta, like I said, be proactive on that. With that, as far as the logistical aspect, and we're going to talk about, taxes and, tax evasion, tax avoidance. We had some issues with that. You can look at some previous videos there about that. Some companies are getting sued currently due to that. But the logistical issue, like, I have a CDL and I've traveled, to California plenty of times, and places like California and Florida don't necessarily, put out a lot of products out to our country. However, California and Florida are major consumers, which means that they consume a lot of items and, freight and things from other areas. They don't necessarily put out those kind of items. And, you got the Silicon Valley, they, a tech, location. And of course you have Hollywood, which is, production, things of that nature. But as far as like products and goods, California is not really big about producing products and goods, but what they are really good about is your fruits, agriculture, your apples, your grapes and stuff like that. So when I was traveling to California many times, I was going to pass vineyards. If you go on the other side of, San Francisco, like, it is some beautiful vineyards out there. You should go check them out. But they're beautiful vineyards and things of that nature. You had the wildfire in California. And guess what? All of the smoke, all of the fires and things of that nature, you have to think about, where's the soot going to? Where is all of the smoke going to? When it's all said and done, like, the certain areas going to be covered with soot, going to be covered with debris from fire. And our vegetables going to be okay. Our fruit's going to be okay. That's something to really consider, something to really think about. This will also be a logistical disaster. Like, I was there for a little period of time, and I remember the fires back around 2000, I want to say 12-ish, I want to say. Maybe a little bit before then. I lied. It wasn't 2000. It was around 2019, 2020, when I was there, and they had a wildfire. And this is normal to have wildfires in California, but this particular time frame, like, I completely had to reroute. So just imagine, your products got to reroute, your mail got to reroute. There are going to be some things lost, obviously. There are going to be certain offices that are shut down. So you might not get your mail that you're looking for. And then, like I said, on top of that, like, your United States Postal Service, your FedEx, your different, carriers that are moving these products and equipment, like, it's going to be an issue. And so you got to be mindful of, like, just because things don't necessarily directly affect you or directly hit you in your hometown or whatever, it does affect you whether you realize it or not. So like I said, we want to keep everybody in prayers. Don't be surprised whenever your items or your products don't come in on time. This is just due to a natural disaster and wildfires, or it could be just like the logistical issues with truck drivers or carriers, individuals that are in the logistics business. Like, this is a hard job. It's not safe. It's not cool. And then I'm gonna go into a whole nother thing about just being safe in general. Like, I don't know, some of us may know who Jeffrey Dahmer is, but I went down Dahmer's Pass like a couple of years ago, and it was like one of my first little trips. And man, I was riding at this time. I was hot shotting. I was moving a lot of freight, actual air conditioning units for like your Walmarts and your Walgreens, not what else I lied, Walmarts and your Home Depots and your Lowe's. And I was going down and I was looking at trucks on the side, and I was wondering what was going on and why they wasn't moving. I wasn't really paying attention to the map. I had failed to do my pre-trip properly, and we just, like I said, we got to be safe. Man, I started going down this hill, man. It was like a slip and slide. I was like, my God, like, it was crazy. I couldn't slow down fast enough. And like, so we had to be cognitive of, like, black ice and like things that we're not aware of. Like, it is very unsafe to be out here in logistics and moving freight around. But I want to keep you all in prayers. We want to keep, our family and friends in prayers, and our enemies. We all got to learn how to love one another, even though we got to coexist here, or not necessarily, but I wouldn't advise that. But we're gonna keep those people in prayers, and like we'll look forward to speaking with you all soon, and have some content. And if this content is valuable, and I could spread out to the other communities, like I really would appreciate it. And I thank you for the likes and subscribes, and you all have a blessed day.